Guys, welcome back to the channel. This is another movie review for Frozen 2. Saw Frozen back in 2013. Didn't get on movie theaters. I watched it on Blu-ray with the family. We all really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the first one when it first came out. But now the song is kind of repetitive. It's a good movie still, but the song's repetitive. And this movie was coming out, and I was looking forward to it. I really was. And I gotta tell you, the trailers, they got me. They looked darker. It looked like it was gonna be an epic movie. However, saw the movie, and I gotta tell you, underwhelmed was probably the best thing I could say about this movie. As much as I really enjoyed that first one, and as much as I was sort of looking forward to this one, I came out underwhelmed. And I think there's a good reason why that was. I think the movie itself was a bit rushed, and that they were trying to throw in stuff that was too much. Too much in one movie. They like an overblown, complicated reasoning for elements, and they all just shoved it in this movie, ripped it with their fist. But it takes very predictable Disney movie sequel routes and elements from those movies, like the parent aspect. The parents were more than what they thought they were, and we got to discover what happened, and stuff like this. But first thing I'm going to say is that they try to throw in the music way too much in this movie, and I think they're doing it in a very rushed type of way. I think that the first 10 minutes of the movie is 15-20 minutes of the movie is flashback stuff with the parents on Elsa, and then about 5 minutes after that they throw in the Let It Go of the movie. And to me Let It Go it works so well because that they had 30 to 40 minutes probably of just build up and Elsa being isolated, and then she brings out that song, and it's just powerful. But this one, they're kind of expecting you to have that knowledge of the first Frozen and all of this, and you're being so used to Frozen and these characters that you're just gonna accept all these songs right away. And I don't think what they were thinking is that it's been over 6 years since that first Frozen movie came out. And I mean, everybody loves that movie, but they needed to be reintroduced to these characters in a different type of way, and I don't think they did that well. I think that they were just wanting to rush everything and get the story told, which is fine, but if you wanted to do that, you probably should have waited at least 2 years or 3 years after that first movie came out, so everybody was still fresh on Frozen, and everybody sort of died down on Frozen. Frozen's not as popular as it was back in 2013, so 2013 or 2014, around those years, that's when the first Frozen came out. And I feel like that I looked at my friend at a few points, and she was like, I just feel like that's not something these characters would say. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't feel like something they would say. I don't think the writing was that good in this movie. I think it had its moments where it was really, really great, really great. But they try to shove in cultural references when it came to certain dialogue. These are people who are talking like they're in back in the old days, and then I hear words like, oh, that was epic, and oh yeah, and stuff like that. And it kind of just the writing just felt very out of order is probably the best I can do for that description of the dialogue. And even the voice acting at points, I was like, that doesn't sound like Elsa from the first movie. Is this the same actress? And she's like, yeah, I think it's the same actress. And when she started singing, it was Elsa. But when she's talking, it's like, that doesn't sound like Elsa. And we both caught on to that. And I'm just like, it kind of sounds phoned in a little bit when it came to the talk, just the normal dialogue. But I don't know. It was just very odd. Olaf has his great moments. Olaf's great. Kristoff and Svens all have their great moments. They're a comedy relief of the movie, and they're great. But I think they tried to shove too much into this movie and made it a giant convoluted mess of just elements, parents, tribes, and it's just too much. Bridges, it's like, okay. Those cute characters that they add in, obviously with some element beings in this, and there's cute and cool creatures, but I just think that overall they really just decided to throw too much into this, and it felt too bloated with too much lure, and they just needed to tone it back a bit. We didn't need to go down that predictable Disney sequel route with the parents, and what they were trying to do, or stuff like this, the shipwreck and everything. We didn't need all that. We just needed a good sequel with good character development, and as much character development as there was in this movie, I just felt like it was very rushed in certain ways, in ways that I didn't even think the characters would want to do it that way, or would say, or just it was very odd. It was very odd to me, and I'm not saying this is a bad movie. I know I'm like trashing on the movie, but to me, it was just very underwhelming. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I probably should rewatch it because I might be missing something. And there's gonna be Frozen fans who see this movie and they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, you missed that," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I might need to rewatch it again, rewatch it again, give my final thoughts on it. Obviously, I'm gonna give my final thoughts right now, but like maybe I was missing something, and maybe I'm just over the Frozen hype, and that's unfair of me to say. I know they just started with Frozen again, so I'll give it another chance, watch it again. But right now, I'm not really loving the movie. I liked it. I liked the movie. I'm not gonna get. Don't get me wrong. I liked the movie, but like there was just so much here that you could have done it better, and that might be probably the best thing I could say. You could have done it better. Even my friend, who was a massive Frozen fan, she is just absolutely was crazy about the first Frozen, loves the characters, and even she was like, "I liked it. It was not better than the first one." And I'm like, "Oh, that's expected. It didn't have to be as good as the first one, but she still really enjoyed it more than me, I think." But I'm gonna give Frozen 2 a 6.9 out of 10. Take the family, take the kids. Definitely go out and see this movie. Judge it for yourself. It's one of those movies I think you're gonna have to see and judge it for yourself because I can't give you a reasonable explanation of how I feel about this movie overall because I was just so I don't even know if it's underwhelming. I think it's just a different way they took the story, and I was not expecting it at all. At all. So, guys, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you guys prefer this movie or Frozen 1? For me, Frozen 1 is still the superior film by a long shot, but I might be missing something here. So, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. And, guys, as always, I do appreciate you watching. Subscribe to the channel, and absolutely take care. I hope you guys have a good ass Christmas.